Welcome to Trending Today podcast. Everything you missed today in 15 minutes. $28 million. Can you believe it? For a pair of shoes.
I know, right? It's mind-boggling. We're talking about Dorothy's ruby slippers, of course, from The Wizard of Oz.
The ones Judy Garland wore. Sold at auction December 7th, 2024. A piece of Hollywood history, literally.
At Heritage Auctions in Dallas, they absolutely smashed the expected price. I mean, they were anticipating something around $3 million.
$3 million? Ha. Try 28. Actually, with the buyer's premium, over $32 million. Most expensive movie memorabilia ever.
Ever. It's insane. The auction itself, I can only imagine the atmosphere. Must have been electric.
The narrator described excited chatter, applause, people bidding by phone, fiercely competing, driving the price up.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time? The auctioneer apparently threw in some Wizard of Oz references to keep things lively. Going once, going twice, off to see the Emerald City or something.
And the winning bidder? Anonymous, of course. Adds to the mystique, doesn't it?
Totally. So these slippers, they're more than just shoes, right? They're a cultural icon.
Exactly. The Wizard of Oz is timeless. Resonates with every generation. The slippers? Instantly recognizable. Symbolic. Home, belonging, dreams.
Powerful stuff. And their journey. It's a story in itself. Stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, no less. 2005.
A heist. This Terry John Martin guy broke in, smashed the display case. A real-life movie plot. He wanted to sell the rubies, you see?
The rubies? Oh, yeah. He thought they were real. They're glass. Imagine his disappointment. He just ditched them.
Gone for over a decade. The FBI recovered them in 2018, a sting operation. Talk about a twist. The owner, Michael Shaw.
He had toured with them. He owned them since the 80s. After the theft, he actually said he'd burn them before returning them to Debbie Reynolds. They were friends, apparently. Later, he decided to sell. Can you imagine? Burning them? What a loss that would have been.
A huge loss. He must have been heartbroken by the theft. And the thief, Terry John Martin, now 77, he was finally indicted and pleaded guilty in 2023.
So the slippers are a symbol of home, but their own journey was far from it. And $28 million, that's not just about the history, right? It's the rarity.
Absolutely. A serious collector's item. A piece of cinematic legend. Sets a new benchmark for memorabilia options. Other Wizard of Oz items were sold too, right?
Yeah. The Wicked Witch's hat went for almost $3 million. Maybe the Wicked prequel's success played a role in all this renewed interest?
Could be. A pivotal moment for movie memorabilia. It shows the enduring power of cinema, and how even a simple pair of shoes can tell the most powerful stories. Who knew?
Amazing, isn't it? Just amazing.
$28 million for a pair of shoes. 32.5 with the premium. It's unreal. It just blows my mind.
Right? I mean, $3 million was the estimate. $3 million. And it ended up at, what, almost 10 times that? Unbelievable. The auction must have been wild.
Wild is an understatement. I read an account. Apparently the bidding was intense, fierce. People on the phones battling it out, hundreds of thousands of dollars flying back and forth.
Yeah. Imagine being in that room. The tension, the excitement must have been electrifying.
Totally. And the auctioneer apparently kept throwing in these Wizard of Oz references. You know, going once, going twice, off to see the Emerald City. Trying to keep it light, I guess.
I can picture it. So who bought them? Do we know?
Anonymous, of course. Adds to the mystery, right?
Absolutely. But think about it. $28 million, that's not just about the shoes, is it? It's about everything they represent.
Exactly. It's the magic of Hollywood, the nostalgia, the power of the Wizard of Oz. A timeless classic. Right?
Totally. And those slippers, they're more than just shoes. They are a symbol, home, belonging, dreams.
So about those slippers, $28 million. It's more than just the money, wouldn't you say?
Way more. It's about the cultural impact. I mean, The Wizard of Oz. Come on, who doesn't love that movie?
Right. Timeless classic. And those slippers, instantly recognizable. They're more than just shoes, right? They're, what, a symbol?
Totally a symbol of home, belonging, that yearning for something more, dreams, right?
Dreams, yeah. And the auction itself, can you imagine being there, the bidding war?
Oh, man. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just flying back and forth. Must have been insane. People on the phones battling it out.
Intense. And the auctioneer apparently threw in some Wizard of Oz lines. You know, going once, going twice, off to see.
The Emerald City, I can see it now. So who bought them? Anyone know?
Anonymous. Naturally. Adds to the mystique, I guess.
Definitely. But really, think about it. It's not just shoes. It's the magic of Hollywood. It's the power of Oz, right?
So we were talking about the ruby slippers, right? 28 million. But it's their journey. It's wild.
Tell me about it. A heist. Stolen from a museum. It's like something out of a movie.
Exactly. The Judy Garland Museum, right? In Grand Rapids, Minnesota, 2005. This guy, Terry John Martin, broke in, smashed the display case. Boom. Gone.
Just like that. Poof. Can you imagine the audacity?
I know, right? And get this, he thought the rubies were real. He wanted to, I don't know, sell them, I guess? Make a fortune.
The rubies are glass, right? Oh, man. Imagine his disappointment. Talk about a letdown.
Total letdown. So the slippers vanish, gone for, what, over a decade?
Yeah. More than 10 years. The FBI finally recovers them, 2018. A sting operation. It's crazy. A real-life movie plot twist.
It is. So they find the slippers, and who owned them? Michael Shaw, right? He had toured with them, apparently.
Yeah, owned them since the 80s, and after they were stolen, he said he'd rather burn them than give them back to Debbie Reynolds. They were friends. Can you believe that?
Burn them? What? Seriously? That's intense.
It is. But later he decided to sell them instead. Thank goodness. Imagine those iconic slippers gone up in smoke. The world would have lost a treasure.
He was going to burn them? Seriously? What?
Yeah. Can you believe it? Rather burn them than return them to Debbie Reynolds. Wild, right?
Absolutely wild. I mean, these are iconic, a piece of history. And he just, poof, up in smoke.
That's what he said. Must have been heartbroken after the thief. I get it, but still.
Totally. But thankfully he didn't. He, what, decided to sell them instead?
Exactly. Thank goodness for that. Imagine no more ruby slippers. Gone. Just ashes.
The world would have lost a treasure, a real treasure. So they were recovered in 2018, right?
Yeah, after more than a decade. A sting operation. The FBI, they're the real heroes here, I think.
True. Real life movie plot twist, right? Stolen, gone for years, then bam, recovered. Amazing.
It is. So Michael Shaw, he owned them since the 80s, you said?
Since the 80s. And toured with them. Imagine owning a piece of Hollywood history like that.
Incredible. And then that whole thing with Debbie Reynolds, they were friends, right? Strange how things turn out.
He was going to burn them? Seriously? Debbie Reynolds? What was that all about?
Right? I mean, I get it. The theft, the emotional turmoil, but still. Burn them? These are the ruby slippers. A piece of history?
Totally. A national treasure almost. But thankfully he didn't go through with it. He sold them instead. And that's how they ended up at auction, right?
Exactly. And that's where the story gets even crazier. $28 million. It's mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling is an understatement. That's, what, almost 10 times the estimated price? They were expecting something around $3 million, weren't they?
Yeah. $3 million. And it just exploded. The bidding war must have been insane. Can you imagine being in that room?
Oh, man. The tension, the excitement. People on the phones battling it out, hundreds of thousands of dollars just flying back and forth.
It's like a real-life movie scene. And the auctioneer apparently kept throwing in Wizard of Oz references, going once, going twice, off to sea.
The Emerald City, I can totally picture it. So who bought them? Do we know?
Anonymous, of course. Adds to the mystique, doesn't it?
For sure. But the price, $28 million, it's not just about the slippers themselves, is it? It's about everything they represent.
Exactly. The history, the nostalgia, the magic of Hollywood, the power of the Wizard of Oz. It's all wrapped up in those shoes.
It's about home, belonging, dreams. It's powerful stuff. And then there's the thief, Terry John Martin, finally brought to justice, right? After all these years.
Yeah. Indicted in 2023, pleaded guilty, 77 years old now. It's kind of a sad ending for him, I guess.
It is. But the slippers are back where they belong. Well, not exactly back, but they're safe. And they've made history twice. Stolen and then sold for a record-breaking amount.
It's a wild story from beginning to end. The heist, the recovery, the auction. It's like a movie in itself.
So it wasn't just the slippers, right? Other Oz stuff went up for auction too, like the Wicked Witch's hat.
Oh, yeah? How much did that go for? $1 million, too?
Almost $3 million. Could you believe it? $3 million for a hat. It's insane.
That's, wow. Almost $3 million. That's still a lot of money for a hat. Even a witch's hat.
It is. It shows, I don't know, the enduring power of Oz, I guess, the cultural impact.
Yeah. And maybe the Wicked prequel has something to do with it? You know, renewed interest in all things Oz?
Could be. Definitely a possibility. I mean, Wicked was a huge hit, both on stage and on screen.
Totally. So the slippers, The hat, almost 3 million. It's setting a new standard, right, for movie memorabilia?
Absolutely. A new benchmark. I mean, 28 million for the slippers. Almost 3 million for the hat. It's unprecedented.
It is unprecedented. It's what, a pivotal moment for movie memorabilia options?
Exactly. Pivotal. A turning point. It's like it shows how much these things are really worth, or at least how much people are willing to pay for them.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's also kind of exciting, right? I mean, it shows the enduring power of cinema, the magic of Hollywood, all wrapped up in a pair of shoes and a hat.
It's more than just the money, right? It's the cultural impact. I mean, The Wizard of Oz, it transcends generations. It's timeless.
Totally. And those slippers, they're a symbol, aren't they, of hope, dreams, that yearning for something more.
Exactly. And the journey those slippers have been on, stolen, recovered, it's a story in itself.
It's wild, a real-life movie plot stolen from a museum. Can you imagine?
The Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, 2005. This guy, Terry John Martin, breaks in, smashes the display case, gone. Poof.
And he thought the rubies were real. They're glass. Imagine his disappointment.
Total letdown. Gone for over a decade. Recovered in 2018. A sting operation. It's crazy.
It is. And the owner, Michael Shaw, he toured with them, owned them since the 80s. He actually said he'd burn them rather than return them to Debbie Reynolds.
Burn them? Seriously? What?
Yeah. Can you believe it? But later, he decided to sell. Thank goodness. Imagine no more ruby slippers, just ashes.
The world would have lost a treasure. A real treasure. So the auction, 28 million. Unprecedented.
Mind-blowing. Almost 10 times the estimated price. 3 million, that's what they were expecting. 3 million. And it ends up at 28. Insane.
The bidding war must have been intense. People on the phones battling it out, hundreds of thousands of dollars flying back and forth.
Like a scene from a movie. And the auctioneer throwing in Wizard of Oz references, going once, going twice off to see the Emerald City.
I can picture it. And the winning bidder? Anonymous, of course. Adds to the mystique.
For sure. But it's more than just the shoes, right? It's the history, the nostalgia, the magic of Hollywood.
It's about home, belonging, dreams. It's everything the Wizard of Oz represents. And it proves, even in the 21st century, a simple pair of shoes can tell the most powerful stories.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the enduring power of cinema. Thanks for joining us on Trending Today podcast. We'll see you next time.
And from me, a huge thank you to our amazing listeners. Keep trending. Goodbye.